Okay, so hello again. Basically, we're here to talk about the final three and their different gameplays and who you think you should crown as the winner of this season to represent ZFAMEZ Season 3. Before we have to do that, we have to figure out who the final three is. So, as you guys saw, because you all follow the main account, Tristan won the veto. So that leaves Maddie or Ross to be evicted. So does anyone have guesses on who you think should go, and who you think's gonna go, and who do you think should be evicted?
You got it, Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas.
I definitely think that he's gonna go with the emotional decision and evict Ross because Tristan has played emotionally this whole game. But I think the obvious choice is to evict Maddie, and that's what I would love to see.
Period.
Second that, 100%. I think he's gonna face this emotionally, and he can't stand Ross. So I think he's gonna vote out Ross because he's like, getting bad for his game. Am I being interrupted already?
Emily.
Wow. Anyone else have any other opinions? You're all pretty much on the same page with that.
He's gonna evict Ross.
Okay, my thing is, I think a lot of the viewers have an input on how people will play this game. And I think that a lot of people have been commenting how much he should evict Maddie. So I think he's going to do something that the viewers want. And I think he might evict Maddie and keep Ross. I'm not sure, though.
Okay, Emily.
I'm sorry, just before I say this, it's just I'm such a big fan of you.
Thanks.
My mom just walked in. I miss you from this fandom. Please text me back. I have no text of you playing iMessage games with me.
This is about jury segment.
That, if Tristan gets his head out of his ass, he's gonna evict Maddie. But I'm pretty sure his head is really up his ass, and he's gonna play emotionally and evict Ross. But I want Maddie.
Okay. Anyone else? Or is that it? Okay. So you guys all know, okay, cover your eyes, and the last or the fourth placer will be joining you.
I'm literally gonna laugh if it's Maddie.
Cover your eyes.
I hope it's Ross. I have a song queued up, and I swear to God, it better be.
Izzy, that includes you.
Just to annoy you, random.
Izzy's eyes were already closed.
Is that happening?
We're waiting for them to come into the waiting room, so 1 sec. I'll tell y'all when.
Wait.
We open our eyes.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
Oh, we can.
Great.
Okay, true story.
It's gonna be kind of awkward because I'm gonna have to close out this tab, and I queued it right in the spot where I wanted it.
Alright, just give them 1 minute.
Okay. 1.
Well,
2.
who doesn't know? Well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
I bet Maddie's mom's talking to her, so she's like, I want to be on her computer.
There's no way. He has no balls. He's not evicting Maddie. He got no balls.
All right, everyone, close your eyes.
Wait, hold on.
Izzy,
Okay.
I always have to remind you that also includes Joe.
Izzy doesn't abide by the rules.
Oh my God. Izzy has no rules. Hey, house guests.
Shut up.
All right, make yourself known.
It's Ross, bitches. Hi. Okay, so Ross, just give them a rundown, I guess, of what happened after veto.
Okay, so after the veto competition, I talked to Tristan and just let him know that Maddie has so many friends in the jury, and that, I feel like I've pissed a lot of you guys off, so I would be a horrible person to evict right now, and I think he should take the shot at Maddie. And he said, I'll think about it, but at the end of the day, I knew he was gonna evict me, even though he said he was gonna think about it. So I mean, it was just really disappointing because he said at the end of the day he was gonna choose the person he felt like he had the better chance at beating. So I'm just going away from it I took it as a compliment, but I'm really upset because last week went horribly. I didn't want Annabelle to go, and it just.
Yeah, we got to talk.
Why didn't you put Matt?
Can I say something?
Yeah, Emily, what do you have to say?
I'm just gonna tell you something. At first, before, like when your HOH was going on, like when we were like when after Lucas got evicted, we were kind of like all rooting for you. But when like as like like kind of everyone, but, like when it
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
With me, I was like rooting for you, but like when it progressively got down, like when it went to nominations, I was like, why did you put up Annabelle? Because like at week, like I don't know, I didn't.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain my nominations that week. So basically, when I won HOH, my initial idea was to nominate Maddie and Tristan, but I adore Maddie, and I had a really genuine conversation with her, and she just told me
it's the final 5.
Okay, but like she had a conversation with me and told me that like that Annabelle would choose Tristan over me, and I
Annabelle was the only person that was losing, no matter who she was against.
But can I ask you, Ross, I want to ask you a genuine question, because I saw your confessional today where you were talking about how Maddie was a big jury threat and all of her friends were in jury, but you had several chances to nominate her and she was the one person who you didn't nominate. Why did you decide to send home Annabelle when you could have sent home Maddie, that big jury threat?
Because I had already put up Annabelle, and I felt like the only way I was going to get Annabelle out is, not Annabelle, the only way I was going to get Maddie out was if I would have kept Annabelle off the block, but she had already convinced me to like put Annabelle up. So at that point, I can't get her to vote because she's already on the block. So I mean, like, she really did know exactly what to say to like fool me, because that really wasn't what I was going to do. And I fell for what she said because I did think that Annabelle was going to choose Tristan over me. So like, but I realized like if I would have just put her up initially, then she would have been the one to go. But like when she said, she was basically saying like, if Tristan wins, it can just be Annabelle, but that's not what she told me. So I fell for it. And I realized like directly after Annabelle's eviction that like I was fucked if I didn't win the veto, and I already couldn't play in HOH. So I kind of just screwed myself over there.
My thing.
Wait, what, Chapman? What'd you say? I missed you.
Wasn't the only HOH you wasted, but anyway.
I was
oh my God, whatever, Brandon.
I was mad at you, Ross, because I was rooting for you, and I was like, he's got to take Maddie out. And when I watched the whole week go along, and she never touched the block, I was like, what the fuck happened? But at least you know what happened, and you're like owning up to it. I'm not mad. I think a lot of people here are kind of pissed off at you, but I'm not going to be mean to you tonight, so don't worry.
Okay,
Definitely mean to me. Everyone in the fucking fandom is mean to me. So every single one of you can be mean to me. I tried my absolute best, and if any of you are bitter, you can suck my dick.
Okay, so I think that's a good statement. I think that's a good statement to, shift to the final 3 that are still in the game. And well, since we're all just talking about Maddie, I guess we could start with her because she's there. She was on the block just this week. She survived. And her stats, basically, she has no head of household. She's been nominated twice. She won 1 power veto, which she used on herself. So the numbers there are not a lot of either. What do you guys think that says about her game? It was a good social game. She wasn't a target. Catman, I saw your hand.
I don't know. I think for the first part of the game, she really did rely on what Dejan and Izzy and Lucas told her to do, and I think they had a lot of influence on her game. And once Dejan went out, I feel like she completely 1000% relied on Izzy. So if she even did play a game, it didn't even start until the final 6. And it was I don't really know what she did since then. I guess she did convince Ross to not nominate her, and she's
that was really good. I'm stupid.
somehow convinced Tristan to not vote to evict her. So I guess she's played a social game, but the physical game's not there, and the strategic
really
game
definitely
is there.
I would say I see Emily and Lucas raise their hands, but I do want to give it to Dejan and Izzy just because their names were brought up, and you guys, I seem to be working with her. So what is your opinion on that? Do you agree with what Chapman said, or do you have a different perspective?
So I thought about it a little bit. Okay, so for me as a player, in this fandom, I know that my name is pretty big. It is pretty out there. So I have to play a different game than Maddie has to, than any other, but anybody else in the game as well. So I think Maddie utilized big people to hide behind and then navigate herself to the end. But I don't think there's enough strategic gameplay in that to get her the win. I don't think her trying to convince Ross was a move like in my department to give her the win. I just think like I was like she just like manipulated him, and she knew that he was kind of weak in that position, and I don't think that was any way a strategic or game move. I think it was just very emotional and very pathetic of her because she knew that she could have potentially went home, and I think it was just like you just used somebody that was just weak-minded, just like, okay, sweetheart, because you are using your friends to try to get votes. And I'm just like, I'm your friend, but I don't think your game is up par for me to get my vote. Like, I'm sorry.
And I think that's important to hear because Dejan and Maddie are good friends. And the fact that Dejan is saying that her game is not good enough should actually show something, should speak something.
Okay, I have something to say. Okay. Hi, everyone. So,
I missed you. I'm sorry I voted you out.
So I think that like I'm like a big believer because I'm not the greatest at comps, and I'm a big believer in like you could do a lot in the game without winning comps, and she had those opportunities and she literally was so done with them. Like I can't even tell you, like there was so many chances she could have like used her vote and made a move or made something change up, but she didn't. She definitely, like, I would tell her to do something or like kind of like persuade her in a way, and I never had to like debate with her about anything. She was always down for whatever I wanted or what Dejan wanted. So I feel like, except for like one time when she decided to throw her boat, which is probably the like one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life, but I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like she hid behind us, and she could have done it in a way where she was still playing a good game, and she didn't, in my opinion.
Okay, so then Emily, your hand went up earlier. So do you have anything else to say, or you kind of agree with them, or?
First off, all I really know about Maddie is her ex-boyfriends in her college. Second off,
Yeah.
to add on what Izzy said with me, when Dejan, like a couple minutes before eviction, Dejan came to me and he said, Maddie's evicting Tristan because he gave us word. She talked to Chapman and said that she's evicting. She had this conversation with Chapman, and I was like, oh, they must have really talked. But like, the last jury segment, literally all the thing that I heard, I think it was last jury segment, she said that it was like mostly about her fucking life and then 5 minutes gameplay. And I feel like that's her downfall. She does want to talk about like her life, and I understand like, you know, you want to get to know the person and the house guest, but there are times when gameplay are the main, like you have to talk about gameplay. And
no, literally,
it just pissed me off that Maddie was gonna evict Tristan. Like I understand you gave Chapman your word, but sometimes there's gonna be times where your word's gonna be broken.
I mean, to be fair to her, she could have used her personal life to
I knew you were gonna say that.
Okay, to have a social repertoire with the house to, you know, feel good with people.
I knew that was gonna say that.
Wait, Lucas was gonna say something.
No, I think this is my thing. There's a difference between socializing and being self-absorbed. And personally, I think Maddie was by far the most self-absorbed in this game. And that's coming from me. So I feel like that's like a...
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Maddie's
Lucas.
not an interesting person. And she spent every conversation I had with her rattling on about her college or her friends or her ex-boyfriends or her... I just don't want to hear it. And I feel like she didn't have social bonds because she wouldn't listen to other people. She would just talk about herself. And that's not building a social resume. That's just being egotistical. So I don't think she...
I agree.
Well,
you can never feel like I build a bond with her at all.
She made me. She was like one of the only people in the house. Like I just found her annoying. Like near.
I agree.
The only one.
Well, she did seem to
I
be
never like talk to her ever.
At the start.
I mean, until Lucas went HOH, and then she didn't touch the block again until tonight. So she did something right, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I said before, she was only nominated twice, and she saved herself once. Do you think she was throwing competitions so that she
just like...
I feel like you can't rely on like the dumbness of people because like no offense, oh my god, sorry Ross, but like I feel like the people that are left in the game are like very easily manipulated, And like I feel like me, Dejan, Chapman, and Lucas can all agree on that. That like we were maybe I feel like we were in a season where like people were just so easily manipulated, and I don't feel like that's mostly on the other person's part, because I'm not gonna take like, I don't know, I just feel like it didn't take a lot for Maddie to talk to Roz. That's just what I'm saying. I don't think she like stood in that Discord like begging to not go up. I feel like she just was like, don't put me up, and Roz was kind of like, okay.
Well, I mean, also in the beginning, she seemed to be a part of the majority to feel safe. How did she get into that position? It just happened by luck, or okay? But what made you? What made you guys want to, work with her?
Because she was my friend. I was like,
okay, so
a really genuine human being, and I don't know. Actually, I like her.
Well, it's no offense, but 2 weeks ago she was like in a fight with you, calling you a racist. Like, how do you respect her as a person when she does not respect you as a person?
I mean, I think she does respect me. I mean,
oh my God.
Ross, I'm just gonna keep it G. Like, I don't think she does. I think she's very hypocritical because she would make statements about how, in Chapman's situation, she would make statements about how, oh my God, you guys can call him a racist. But when it came to you and Lucas, she was so easy to be like, oh, he's racist, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like, that's not fair to those individuals. Like, you should keep the energy. Like, it's not fair. She's talked about you, she's laughed about you. I don't think that's a genuine person. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, and if she does not say what she has said about you, like, I don't think that's a genuine connection that you built with her. I just feel like she just used you and be like, oh, he's easy to manipulate. Like, that's it.
I mean, okay, you're right. Like, you made some very valid points, but then again, we've all talked shit about each other. This is Big Brother, and we've tried to advance in the game. I'm pretty sure all of you have said some horrible things about me, and that's fine. Okay. But I did think that what she was saying to me was genuine, and I mean, I don't get offended when people call me a racist, because I've been called several things. I'm not even going to go into what I've been called, but to me, I'm so numb to it that like I guess I just am easily manipulated. So I guess that's, yeah, because I mean, all of you have probably said negative things about me. So
now,
how did it make sense? Sorry,
no, you could go. What were you gonna say?
Never mind.
Oh, okay. Well, if she ended up in the final two and she was like very straight up and was like, yes, I did manipulate you, Ross, I did talk shit about you, I did do this. If she owned up to being a hypocrite, possibly, would that be respectable, or would it not really make a difference?
It depends who she's up against.
Questions for Ross.
You have a two.
The person that like owns up to their, like, if you're gonna go up there and claim things that you didn't claim, like, you lost my vote. That's just it.
That's what I think Maddie's gonna do. I think she might like claim too many moves. I think that's what Emily was trying to say. Like, she might claim things that she didn't do, or act like she had a lot of an influence or an impact on a lot of moves that happened this season that she really didn't. I think Dejan, Lucas, and Izzy were the main people this season who really controlled the votes and controlled what was happening. And I think Maddie, similar to a lot of us, kind of just went along with what they said. So like I said before, if Maddie did play a game, it didn't start until like the final six, which is not something that should be rewarded.
I honestly think that's why Tristan evicted me over Maddie, because I've been playing the game since week 1, and I
agreed.
I don't know about that. I think he evicted you because he's emotional and literally like.
So you don't think I've been playing the game?
If you think about it, yes, Ross, 100%. But like from the house view, like I would just picture the jury hating you, even though we didn't. But like,
of course, I had to say that. I wanted to make it further.
No. It definitely like seemed that way. I would think like when I walked into the jury, I expected everyone to hate you, but they didn't. So here's my thing: is like, I think Tristan, like, obviously things are different now, but like I felt like Tristan's only shot was if you were there. So like just from like from some point of view, like I think, in just my opinion from right now, I think he could lose either way, which like is so like I don't think he should have taken you out. That was just a dumb decision.
I think he could beat Maddie.
But what was I even saying? I have no idea what I was just saying. Where did I start?
Queen.
That Tristan was voted out Ross for emotional reasons rather than actual
Yeah,
strategic
I
reasons.
definitely think. I think.
But I
from
did
his point of
tell
view, it would have been smarter, but like, knowing like what you know now, I think you could have beat him. But I think everyone in that house could have beat him. So.
I want to also ask Brandon and Annabelle specifically, just because they've been a little more quiet with Maddie. What is your personal viewpoint as an individual on her, just so everyone can
I just could never build that bond with Maddie from the start, and the fact she gave me no reason why she was evicting me after I talked to her so much about the reasons why she'd keep me. She said, "Yeah, I'm evicting you," but like said nothing afterwards, and I was just kind of there like, "Are you gonna tell me why?" She's like, "No, I don't want you," and then kind of just ended the conversation there. So I still have no idea why I was evicted, because I knew I wasn't gonna win either way. And I was against it, just seemed very stupid, and then. Like the pitch was that, like with the sprained wrist, Dominic would win the next HOH, whatever. Dominic won next HOH. So I still don't understand where Maddie's head was at regarding Final Five.
Okay, and Brandon, what about you?
It's hard for me to give like a full entire opinion because out of everyone in this jury, I've been here the longest and I've had the least amount of time in the game with her.
Mm-hmm.
But from my experience with her, like I just found it, she was in the majority alliance, but I rarely ever saw her speak with anyone from outside of it. And I mean, I know talking to someone is a two-way street, but I never even had an Instagram chat with her or like ever talked with her one-on-one until the week I got evicted. And personally, I think she just relied on that a little too much. And I don't think she ever initiated anything. So, socially, I wouldn't say the reason she barely ever got nominated. I don't think that's because she was playing a great social game. I do think that there were bigger fish to fry, and that's why she never got nominated.
And then Lucas, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, you weren't the only one she didn't make a chat with. I never had a chat with Matt the entire game, and I think I played.
Well, I did until Final Five.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit, wow.
Anything at all.
I did.
Me and Dejan.
I had one.
Day one.
Hey, really quick, Lucas, you tried to talk a few times. It seems like you need to move a little closer maybe to the mic because it like hardly picks it up. Just letting you know.
Have a good time. Okay, so here's my thing. I think that Maddie, she you can't say she played a good social game because she didn't at all. Like she just literally didn't. And I lost my train of thought, but I'm gonna try to get back to it in a quick second. Oh yeah, no, yeah. The whole majority alliance, that was completely true. And like she was one of those people where like if you tried to talk to her, like it was hard to get her to talk to you because she wouldn't respond for a while. And then she never ever initiated combos with you. And by the week of my eviction, I had to initiate with her just to clear up personal stuff. And that's something she should have done because like I'm going to be a juror and like we would have ended on really bad notes if she would have never cleared anything up. So I don't know, I feel like she had a lot of things she could have done that she didn't do. And that's socially, strategically, physically, everything. She's just a very not well-rounded player. That's how I feel about her.
Okay, so
like,
I mean,
go ahead.
It's okay. And a lot of basically what everyone was saying was negative, but does anyone have anything positive to say about her game? What was like the best aspect of her game, if there was one? Anyone have any sort of positive?
She's pretty.
Okay. She used that to her advantage at all?
No, I just think she's pretty.
I think she was like getting close with Chapman like early in the game, and I think like that's what she wanted to do. But she literally did it in the dumbest way possible. Everyone on the other side of the house was targeting her because of it. Like it was so dumb, and I honestly like if we hadn't flipped the Drew vote, her and Chapman would have been screwed a long time ago.
But did she realize this was going on at all, or was she not at all?
Like if everyone's in the living room after a competition and you and Chapman just automatically go to the hammock by yourselves, everyone's kind of like, really?
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's something that also could be said about that, though. She wasn't scared to do that. That's pretty ballsy.
Do you think she wanted to do it for the game, though, or do you think she was like having fun with it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just
from like me and
point.
Dejan. Did you get the vibe where we were kind of just like doing this for fun? It didn't even seem like game that much.
It was the same game. She had a crush on him. Like,
be fair. Hold on.
No, like
both ways.
I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm not gonna.
Let that out. No, after
fair. All our hammock talks, like after challenges or after evictions, it was game talk. for about 10 seconds. And then it was her exes and college and drinking and partying, which that was fun. I had fun talking about that. But it wasn't game talk. There was maybe 10 seconds of game talk. And then after that, it was just about her life. My life sometimes, but her life.
You liked hearing about her 20 ex-boyfriends?
Yeah,
It was
he did.
God, when she pulled up
Oh
the
my God.
presentation, I couldn't believe what I
That
was
was
hearing.
hysterical. Oh my god.
I mean, well, she is in the final three though. Like she had to do something right to get there. It's not just luck at this point. Like
Big Brothers kind of just went after each other.
But I mean, like Matt.
Yeah, I
Matt, okay,
really
but, like,
do.
Matt, let's think about Victoria.
Yep. Okay, she's not a Victoria. Okay, she might be Victoria, honestly. Pretty similar.
I mean, I really just think there were bigger fish to fry. I mean, like when you look at who's been voted out recently, I think they've all played better games than Maddie. So I really just, I don't think that, it's hard to say, but I really don't think she did much to earn this spot here.
And Matt, don't be surprised that there's not a lot of positives because none of the finalists are going to have any positives tonight. Really, it's going to be all negatives. So she might have a lot
Yeah,
of,
mostly.
the other two are going to have a lot of negatives also. So
I want to add one more thing. I think that her like place, like her being there is not because she was like socially like strategizing, doing anything. She wasn't doing anything. She was in the big alliance, and she was the least threatening member of the majority alliance. The last one standing. Everyone.
We can confirm in the minority. Like,
Yeah.
our targets for the majority alliance did not include Maddie.
No,
Like,
she was the
Brandon,
last
me,
one.
Tristan, Dominic, like when we're thinking about who to target from that large alliance, Maddie was never brought up.
She was the last one we would have targeted, actually.
Yeah.
She did nothing.
And you can see that from both angles. You can see that being like a good move on her part, but she didn't do anything to get that status. That's why she got the status. That she wasn't doing anything. So people were like, there's no need to target Maddie. And now she is in the final three. But all she's done is won a veto to save herself, and she wasn't even going home that eviction anyways.
refresh my who was she up against at that point?
Dejan.
Was the house.
At that time, it was right after like that. Like it was the day after that like whole veto blow up. So obviously, Dejan had this huge target on his back. So even if someone discarded the veto, she wouldn't have gone home unless some voodoo doll shit and the votes flipped the last minute.
Okay, well, I think we covered all we had to cover on Maddie, so we could, segue into the next person, which is Tristan. So Tristan's stats, he's won 1 head of household, he's been nominated 4 times, he won 4 power of vetoes, he saved himself with 3 of those power of vetoes, and on his 1 HOH, Lucas went home, and additionally, he was the sole vote to evict Ross. So, I mean, that's a lot more competitions than Maddie. Does that have to say anything about his game? I'll let Luke. I saw Lucas go first. So.
Let Lucas go.
Having me. Tristan, I think he's trying to paint this like image that he was like the underdog of the season, but almost every time he was nominated, it was as a pawn. And then other than that, wins. If he wouldn't have taken me out, he wouldn't have needed to win all these comps. Like he literally purposely put himself in a bad spot by targeting me when Dejan agreed with me. It would have been smarter if he would have pulled me in. So I'm not even trying to be bitter here. I'm just saying like he made a lot of strategic errors that put him in a bad position, and that's why he needed to win all those comps. And I mean, this is coming from the comp piece of the season. I don't respect comps as like why you should win. And I think the only thing he's done is win comps. Other than that, he did what Izzy told him to do, and he cried a lot whenever he didn't win comps. So I just who is that? Yeah, I mean, personally, I think he's done absolutely nothing in the game besides cry, whine, and then be cocky for no reason. That's Tristan's gameplay. So
I will say again, playing devil's advocate, but I know you said that he put himself in a bad position by getting you out because that just made him a bigger threat. But maybe he knew he could win these next few competitions. Like my season, Riley took me out. I was the only person on her side at Final 5, but she knew she was going to be able to win Final 4, veto, Final 3 head of household. If he knew that's what he had to do, maybe that was his plan the whole time, and he knew maybe he was putting himself in a bad situation, but he had enough faith he could do it. Emily, take it away?
Okay, but like, I know he probably could have won those competitions. But let's be real. Part 3, the final head of household, part 1.
No, not such endurance.
It's not gonna last long, sweetheart.
He's not winning.
Oh
He's
yeah,
not winning.
Dominic's winning.
It's in
part 1.
There for 2 minutes. That's it. You better fucking hard too.
I can like
The
tell
only
you
physical
my
comps
little,
Tristan won involves cups, and if I didn't have a sprained wrist, I probably would have beaten him final five beater.
I can tell you like my little like journey with Tristan if like you want.
Yeah, that'd be enlightening.
Okay. So like obviously Tristan's my friend, like in and out of the game, and I love him. I want the best for him, but it's like I honestly like I feel kind of bad for him because I really think he thinks he does so well on stuff when he really like he's got a hot head. So like basically I left him out at like I was always like working with him like since we walked in the house. I purposely like if I was gonna like be in a majority alliance, I did not want him in it because it kind of worked where like he was on one side, I was on one side. And when we did the Drew vote, I chose not to tell him. And he would like cry about it and he was very, very upset with me. So I told him, I'm like, I'll tell you the vote every single time. He goes, please just, I don't care what you do, just tell me the vote. So from that on, that's exactly what I did. I'll go to him, tell the vote, that's how he voted. I feel like he would cry to me being like, you put me in such a bad like position, like you did this to me. But like I'd have to keep reminding him like, Tristan, you're in a really good position because you have me here and I'm not going to let anyone I'm working with target you. And then you have those people who won't target you because you're on your side. So you're actually in a great position. So I'd have to keep reminding him that he is in a good position because I think he wanted to be this underdog, but I don't think he was really ever. And I feel like the big threats kind of went after each other. And like, I hate to like
Yeah.
say it in this way, but like I had a lot of people like on my side that I was super close to, and so did Lucas. So like when me and Lucas kind of went at each other, we were kind of like targeting each other's like people, and it took both me and Lucas out and kind of left over people that were we were just telling them what to do. And like I don't want to say like I'm happy for him that he's winning comps, but it's also like you can't say like winning that HOH was a move because I think whoever would have won that would have done the same thing. And I think he had like the Annabelle vote. Like I think that was literally the dumbest move I've ever seen. I don't know why Annabelle's here. And I also feel like he had an opportunity to take Maddie out and put her in jury, and he didn't do that either. So it's like from what I've heard on his HOH, he literally like all the power went to his head.
Yes.
He went on such a power trip.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like it's final six, you're competing against like 4 other people in a comp, and like I don't know, it was kind of like just because you win one HOH like doesn't mean
you won it by staying up late. Like
I mean, even if everyone was gonna do the same move, I feel like he won the HOH. Now he gets to take credit for it. So I feel like that's still.
I feel like if
something that's
anything,
good about
the people
it.
that were voting should take credit for it
because there was part of me and Dominic that were going to evict Ross rather than Lucas. Like we already knew like Maddie was definitely going to evict Lucas, but Dominic and I were actually genuinely listening to what Lucas was saying and things. Obviously, yeah, it was the wrong choice, what we ended up doing. But I was the one and decided Dominic were evicting Lucas. Dominic went along with it. So Tristan really can't take much credit to that.
From like my opinion, like do I think Tristan took out Lucas? No, I think the people voting took out Lucas because they're the ones that had the decision whether to send him home or send Ross home, and they chose to send him home. And like if Maddie or Dominic or whoever else, like I don't even know about Annabelle, like if they had won, I think the same thing would have happened. So
to be fair though, not only did he win the HOH that week, he did also win the veto.
Yeah.
I just secured Lucas's or Ross's fate.
So the thing is like
exactly.
He can take credit for it, but it's not full credit because I see like where Izzy's coming from. Like the voters are the ones who voted out Lucas, but Tristan put Lucas in a position to be voted out. But at the same time, like everybody was going to do that. No matter who won HOH, unless it was Ross, Lucas was going to go up on the block and Lucas was going to go home. So yes, he did win that HOH that did do that. But it wasn't like where Izzy's coming from. She's saying it's not a big move that he should like highlight because it was what everybody was doing. It's like when I won HOH and put up Dominic, it fell through, but like everybody wanted Dominic out, so I put up Dominic. It's not a big move. It's not really a move at all, and it fell through anyways. But
even I mean, as I said, like yeah, I could see the point with the everyone's gonna do the HOH thing, but even then, like he beat Lucas in the veto, and Lucas, you were the biggest comp beast in the whole season. So the fact that he was the one to beat Lucas in a competition they were both competing in, I feel like that's some merit at least to taking credit for it, right?
But then again, the show was stay or fold, so he guessed with some numbers, and that's how he beat me. I don't know. I feel like if he beat me in like this crazy like endurance comp, or we went back and forth in OTAB or something crazy like that, then yeah, he could take credit for it. But it's like you wrote down a number on a piece of paper and hoped you were right. You know, like stay or fold requires no skill really. It's like guessing. So I don't know. I feel like that he deserves to take all this praise for being the David who slayed Goliath, because he didn't do that. And it bothers me that people give him credit, because I don't think he do. Yeah.
And so another facet actually, Chapman, you could.
I was just gonna say another thing I wanted to highlight on was what Izzy said earlier. I think Tristan was the most protected person this entire season, and it's not something that he didn't put himself in that position. He came into the game with Izzy, a pre-existing relationship, and she was protecting him from our side completely. And then his side was also protecting him, but he didn't choose that side. He got pushed into that side because it was the minority. So he was protected from both sides of the house, not because he did anything, but because he kind of fell into that position.
Yeah, he did rely on a pre-jury twist to save him. I mean, he had the royalty like 3 weeks in a row, and he was on council. Like, he didn't the pre-jury stage of the game. I don't think any three of them like were really doing that much. I think that's like ultimately why he decided to evict me over Maddie, because like I don't know. I tried to explain to him. I was like, Maddie will win, like, but I don't think she'll win. That's what I had to say. And so like, I don't know what Tristan was thinking towards that.
I was gonna say I wanted to like switch facets to maybe his social game, because Izzy was saying how he was left out of one vote. He had one conversation with Izzy, and Izzy told him everything they're forward. And I don't know, that sounds like he was left out of something. He took the initiative to make sure he was in on everything else going forward. Is that not a positive?
Maybe Izzy should speak on that first, but I just want to say that like I don't think Tristan had a social game. Going back to the protection, he was protected from both sides, not because he did anything socially, but because he had Izzy, who was obviously going to protect him as a friend, and then his side of the minorities who weren't going to come after him, obviously, because he was on their side, like one of the few people on their side. For me personally, me and Tristan talked for the very first time, I want to say, the week that Izzy won HOH, like week fucking 12 or 9, 10, whatever it was. We didn't talk until like 40 days into the game, and yes, it's a two-way street. I'm not saying I had a great social game, but I don't think Tristan's social game really was there. Izzy, you should probably talk about that though.
I mean, I like hate like taking credit, because like he is like he would sit late at night, and like he came off as such like a nice guy. Like I think he is, and like that definitely like did build his social game. But at the end of the day, like my side, like some of the people on my side were so after him, and I'd have to do the work. I'd have to be like, you shouldn't go after Tristan because this, and especially with Tristan and Ross, like they were so after each other, and I literally had to like keep being like, no, this is good for us, like all the time. And like I'd be like, talk to Ross, and he'd say no sometimes, and then I'd be like, you need to go talk to Ross. Or even with like Lucas, because he wanted Lucas off him, and like even a lot Maddie, like that's why Maddie and Tristan are close, because Tristan was like, if I won HOH, I wanted to nominate Chapman and Maddie. And I go, I think you should talk to Maddie. I really do. And I told Maddie, I'm like, I think you should talk to Tristan. And so it's kind of like, I feel like he had a really good social game with his side. But
not well. I had a different experience with Tristan. Like
I'm talking about with the people that stayed up at night. I'm talking about Zen, Emily, not even that, like Anna, like Jade, all the people that went really early.
Yeah.
I guess he did have, like, I don't know. I guess I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, like, I didn't hear Tristan really talk much game ever. Like, a social game should be about, I guess it shouldn't be like all game, but it should be somewhat game. And I don't feel like Tristan really talked game other than when he whined about being left out of stuff.
Comps, like every single comp he lost, it was like, get ready for Tristan's cry fest. Like it's
I feel like he drank like 2 sips of Sprite and then was whining about it. Like,
he threw up 3 cups.
Annabelle, please drop. Annabelle, please drop.
Oh, that was so annoying.
Wait, Izzy, you have those pictures, right?
Yeah, I do.
But if you really think about it, I mean, he had his side, and nobody in that side was gonna put him up. I can speak on that. But then when you think about it, the other side, there were people that were gonna target him, that were gonna target other people on that side before they were gonna target him, and he was able to utilize that position, I think, really well, and eventually it got to the point.
He didn't utilize that at all.
I think he knew he had that position. I think
Well,
he would always say, I'm in this horrible spot. I think if he was self-aware and he knew that he put himself in a good spot and that he did all this to maintain a good position, because he was in a good position. But literally, like, he didn't act like it. And I don't think it was acting. I think if we see Tristan in the final two, he's going to go there and say, I was underdog. I made big moves. Like, yes, this, yay. When that's not what he did. He was in a great spot. And I think he should get credit for his social media part of the game. I don't think he should get credit for anything else, because I just feel like Tristan, there was a lot that he lacked. And that's all I really have to say. Yeah.
If he does make the final two, and Brandon, I'll shift to you after I ask this question because I think you were going to touch on it. But if he does make final two and he goes in with this speech of saying, I knew I was in a good position. I didn't want anyone to know I was in a good position. I didn't want to rock the boat because I was in this good position. I mean, if he was aware of this and he made sure he stayed in that good position, is that credible enough? Or is that credible to you guys, Brandon? Because you were going to say something like that?
I think absolutely. I don't think he was this underdog player that he might make himself out to be, but I mean, let's be real. He was in a good position, and I don't know if he really realized that. I'm not saying he's the most self-aware person, and I don't think he was aware of his position in the game, but overall, I mean, I still think he was in a pretty fine spot. And I think that if he would admit to that I don't know if he put himself in that spot, but if he like utilized it well, then yeah, I think that would earn some of my respect.
Well, same with Maddie, though. Maddie was in a great spot, too, but we didn't give her any credit for that earlier. So I think if we're going to give Tristan credit for being in a good spot, we should give the same credit to Maddie, because I think she was in a better spot. Because Tristan had people targeting him, Maddie didn't. So I think if we're going to rank, like, spots, Maddie is above Tristan for sure.
Well, see, and that's 50-50, because Maddie was also a part of an alliance that was dominating the entire pre-jury and then the first week of jury as well, whereas Tristan
dominated the game, but you didn't. So
Tristan wasn't in the majority, but he was protected because of Izzy. So he wasn't like he wasn't in the majority, but he wasn't not going anywhere because of Izzy and Izzy only.
I also think it's important though to distinguish, like, yeah, there are friends in the game, but that's never a guarantee, or it shouldn't be at least. So I don't think it's fair necessarily to fault someone for having friends.
No,
like,
I don't want.
Yeah, I've voted out Brandon, and he's my friend before the game.
Of course,
Thanks, Annabelle. Thank you, Annabelle.
Love you, Brandon.
I'm not faulting Tristan for having friends. I'm just saying I feel like he relied on it a little too much, because if him and Izzy weren't friends, I feel like this game would have gone differently for him.
Yeah,
yes, he was whining and he was annoying and rubbing a lot of people the wrong way while he was being protected. And I don't think it was anything. I don't think he put himself in that position. I think it was just the luck of the draw. He happened to be casted with someone who was going to be looking out for him no matter what.
Well, Izzy, were you going to bring him final two?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I mean,
and that's where I'm.
Okay, if I had the chance, like, obviously, Lucas, I love you and everything, but like, we knew like it wasn't gonna happen. You know, it was like we wanted it to happen, but I don't think it would have. And like, I could be completely off, but like from what he was telling me, I don't think Tristan, I wouldn't label him as a manipulator. Like, I don't think he'd tell me something that wasn't true, and like that just might be because like I know him outside. But when he said that because he told me that he would feel too guilty about ever turning on me, like I think you can tell me that like it's not true, but I think it's true. I think he would have, and like it kind of shows that the moves he's done so far like kind of relied on what was easier for him to do rather than what was the better move, because I know him and Maddie had probably gotten close the last couple of weeks, and like I feel like he wouldn't have done that just because of that. And I think he told me a million times, he's like, I know you're playing a better game than me, but I never have the balls to take you out. So I don't know.
Dejan, do you have anything else to say? Because you were saying something earlier.
I don't think he was self-aware about the position he was in, because I would have conversations with him. He was like, I just need to win HOH so I can put up Lucas. I'm just like, you lose every competition, so stop thinking about that. Like, you can't do anything. Like, you're not going to win a competition anytime soon. So, like, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. Like, can you guys just tell me the vote next time? Like, he would cry. I'm just like, oh my God, shut up. Like, literally shut up. And he would just sit there and moan and complain all night. Like, 2 o'clock in the morning, not even talking game, just complaining about random shit. I'm just like, I can't work with this. Like, I can't bring you into something that I'm already, like, close-knit with. Like, I can't help you anymore. He would just sit there and, like, a luck of the draw. Like, luckily he had Izzy, because if Izzy was not in the game, he would have been gone, like, week 2 or 3. Literally, he would have been gone. Like, that's how bad it was.
So
And
is his... Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, he did get an HOH advantage, and I think he got last place in that HOH that he had.
He cried.
True.
Cried the whole night. Not even
Only like 4 people played in that too.
I want to compliment his
Look
comp
at
points.
Brandon because he didn't have his supplies.
He does have a decent amount of comp points, but only because he's not competing
Mhm.
with that many people now. Like, that's the only reason that he has all these comp points, is because he's not playing against a lot of people. But
The only
can't-
one he had a lot against was that Jura 1
yeah,
beater. That's the
And
only
you
one there's a lot of people for.
take
No,
that-
I wasn't it was only 5. It wasn't even 6 like a normal veto. So I feel like Tristan, he's
Oh,
lucky.
yeah, true. Oh my god, Junior doesn't have the lot.
Yeah,
I think he has won comps, and he is showing that, like, he is playing the comps. But, like, I don't know. I don't think you should ever give someone too many credits just for winning comps. Like, Lucas, like we said before, Lucas won a shit ton of comps, but Lucas was also doing probably the most work in the game, like, socially and strategically, alongside Izzy, who was probably maybe the brains of that. I don't really know. They worked together.
I just sat there and sucked Lucas's dick and didn't do anything.
Hey
Basically.
guys,
I mean, the first step is like admitting it.
Izzy, you were the first one to tell me that just because we agree on things doesn't mean that he's making the decision for me. So you're a hypocrite.
I had to tell you what I had to tell you. Ron.
Anyways,
That's fine.
anyways. Did you say you were okay with losing to him?
When did I say that?
Just gonna smile and wave.
Bring it up.
To be
Bring it
honest,
up.
I don't want to call you out, Ross, but you did say to me a few times, like, you are the only person in this game I'm comfortable losing against. Like,
Yeah, then that's respect to
Yeah.
you and only you because of how good you are at this game. You were the only person that I was going to be okay with getting evicted next to on the block. That's why I gave up essentially. No, I just took a more chilled way of campaigning because you were the target and you were going crazy. So I was like, this is why they should take you out.
Well, Ross, I was not going crazy.
10 paragraphs.
Everything I could to save myself.
The amount of paragraphs I got from Lucas.
Let's not.
Ross, if like I'm gonna be honest, like I think like you did I think you did more than the people still in the game, so I'll give you that. But I also feel like we did kind of swayed you a lot of the time, and like part of me telling you just because like telling you like and talking to you saying you weren't being controlled by Lucas was strategy and manipulation, and I wanted you to think that. And like I hate to like say it, but like you had chances to make moves and you didn't.
Yup. I will give you credit for one thing though, is that at least you tried to play the game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is something that some people can't say.
And I don't think you were like blindly my minion. I do think we worked together for a lot of stuff, but like I also don't think that you thought for yourself a lot just because of like the week that I was in the game. Like you did exactly what Maddie said. So it's like it's literally going into the jury. I was like, I don't think Ross is like that much of a follower. But then as soon as like I'm gone, you start following Maddie, and it's like, what is he doing? So that's my thing. That's my only thing.
kind of see, like, why he followed Maddie, because he might have felt like he had nobody else in the game. But I don't want to credit that. Like, at Final Five, you shouldn't do what someone tells you to do. But if you do feel alone and you feel like you don't have anybody, it's nice to feel like you might have a number, even if she was playing him. I don't know if that's the case, Ross, but that's where I hope.
It doesn't matter. I'm a follower. That's it.
Okay, so anyways, last thing I want to touch on with Tristan is, so you guys brought up a lot about how he whined a lot. Is that his biggest downfall?
Yes. Well,
It's his most annoying trait. Like, he's
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more a trait thing rather than like anything.
Biggest downfall was getting like this is from what I've heard, getting all big and bold the first time he got in power, and like he could have used that to like send someone into jury with like a not that bitter taste in their mouth, while also having relationships for the next week that would secure him, but he didn't. He would have gone home if he didn't win the veto, I think. And like after your HOH, you're supposed to set yourself up in a nice way. Like obviously I didn't. But
well, regarding Final Five and Tristan, I was talking with Tristan and Dominic a lot, and we wanted Maddie gone that week. But like if one of us won the HOH, would have nominated Ross and Maddie. But obviously Ross won HOH, and then Maddie never got in the block. So I don't think Tristan was necessarily going Final Five, unless Ross won HOH and nominated him.
And to like bounce off of like what we're talking about right now, Tristan had multiple opportunities, like what we've said before. He didn't evict Maddie this week. He evicted Ross, and he also voted to keep Dominic instead of Annabelle, who he should have kept. Annabelle and Ross.
Yeah, I was talking to Tristan about that, and he just like he was in a position where Maddie was like, "You have to vote out Annabelle because I am." This is what Tristan was telling me, but he never found out why. He never told me why Maddie was voting me either. Like he's just had to go along with it for the future things. But I don't know what Ross would have done in a tie, but I'm like, he at least could have tied it. Like, at least tie.
What would you have done in a tie? It's okay, because like it's kind of hard to answer this now because like knowing what you know now would definitely change your opinion. But from what Annabelle said, it sounded like you were evicting her either way. But like it could have been different.
That doesn't matter.
It does a little bit.
I still don't know. It does because Tristan's claiming that you were gonna evict Annabelle in the tie no matter what. So like we wouldn't know if that's the actual reasoning or not. So were you actually gonna evict Annabelle if it tied?
I might tell y'all if I feel like it.
What?
Y'all gonna have no matter what. Like I see where he's coming from. Like,
I don't feel like telling y'all anything because I mean like y'all were saying, well, at least you tried to play the game. I've been playing the game since week 1. I don't have to tell y'all anything I don't want to tell
Ross, you had nothing to do with
Ross.
I'm not telling y'all anything. Maybe if I tell y'all, if y'all can give me a little bit more respect.
He was targeted.
Sorry, I've been on my phone the entire time.
I was targeted week 3, and I had to lay low to make it further because I was about to be after Asher boot. So y'all can all fuck off.
Yeah, Ross and I were final noms week 2, and then Beaver quit.
Oh, no one's discrediting your game.
That's exactly. Okay.
No, I see where he's coming from. Like he was targeted early on because he was playing the game when everyone was like, "Dude, why is Ross playing the game?" That's
right.
Beginning.
He was playing it roughly in the beginning.
But
You know?
I'm not saying he was doing.
I still was
how he played, but like from day one, Ross was playing the game, whereas half of the people were kumbaya and just giggling and staying up all night. So I see that perspective. I don't want to shit on anyone's game personally, so I don't want to like speak on anyone's game about that. But like, if he doesn't want to answer that question because he has a feeling you guys are just gonna shit on him even more, like I see where he's coming from with that.
So you're gonna evict Annabelle? Is that what the answer is?
I'm not. No,
it's okay. I don't feel like I don't feel like we're jumping you. I feel like I'm trying to talk to you in a respectful way. I'm not like laughing in your face.
I do feel like the answer could affect the thoughts on Tristan, which is the way I would say it's important to answer. Just because if you were gonna actually do what Tristan said you would do, that would credit his game and be like, oh, he was right about what he said.
Didn't tell me to do anything.
Well, no, not what he told you to do. What he said that he thinks you would have done.
Because Tristan was saying either way, Annabelle was getting evicted. I think.
Yeah,
that's what Tristan was like telling me. Is like even if like Maddie's kind of pressuring him to vote Annabelle because either way I'm probably going to go. So he like felt like it'd benefit him more voting me anyway, make it 2-0 rather than 1-1 tie.
Well, he could have tried.
Well, yeah, and that's something I want to know as a juror who's going to cast a vote.
But did Tristan try to change that? Like if Tristan wanted Annabelle to stay, did Tristan even make an attempt to change that?
He told me he did, but I never saw him on call with Maddie after I talked with Maddie about and asked him what he was doing. Like he said, I'll talk to Maddie, but I was only talked to him once and that was right after the veto.
I think Maddie was in his ear probably. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Like he said he did, but I don't think he did.
Like, yeah, I don't feel like this should factor into Tristan's game at all. Like
I don't know. I think it factors into like how much Annabelle respects him because if he just pulled that out of his ass, then
Yeah.
There's to know.
Yeah, because I had a different experience with Tristan. Like, I would talk strategically with Tristan all the time, talk about other things. He rarely whined to me. It was only like once he did. So I like a more positive view of Tristan. But if he's saying that he was trying and wasn't trying at all, like, that's probably going to affect him. But at the end of the day, I was always going to pick Dominic over Tristan.
So, one more try. Any answer on who you would have evicted in a tie, or?
No, I'll answer it when I
Just gonna-
feel like it.
All right, so
You get
I
your
guess
drama queen.
then we're going to move on to the final finalist, Dominic. And his stats are, he has 2 HOHs. He was nominated 4 times and did not win any power vetoes. On his HOH reigns, Ross was evicted and Emily was evicted. And on his 4 nominations, he survived every eviction. So I guess anyone want to hop off of that, Chapman?
He survived 4 evictions, but I don't know if he survived because of things that he did. The first eviction he survived was against Jade, and that was all Izzy and Lucas probably. The second eviction he survived against Brandon. That was a fluke. I think if we had better communication with Annabelle, things might have changed, and Dominic probably would have gone home, but because of a last-minute mix-up, things didn't go the way that they should have. And then he survived against Dejan, who was literally the house target. Like, no one was going to get evicted over Dejan. And then he just survived against Annabelle. And I don't know if he...
Here's my thing with Dominic. I think Izzy, yeah, she's the reason Dominic stayed the first time. But I wouldn't have kept Dom if he didn't have such a good plea to me. Like, yeah, Izzy's seeds that she planned to me helped me want to keep him. But, like, when he talked to me, I was like, damn, I want this guy to stay. He's actually a pretty good campaigner, I think. And I think we're discrediting him too much. And I think that, yeah, he got lucky. But, like, surviving the block as a final nominee 4 times, that's, like, a huge accomplishment. And, like, I think the only player I can name who's done that is now. So, like, honestly, I think Dominic's a great player. I think he's not a great player, but I think he's learned the most from his mistakes in this game. Dominic was at the bottom of the house week 4. No one liked him. No one respected him. Week 5, he was leaving, but he didn't give up. He was persistent. He got me to flip. And because of me flipping, I got everyone else to flip. Same with Dejan and Izzy. And I think that from that point on, Dominic realized that he couldn't do certain things like dictate people. He took a backseat approach and he played the backseat pretty well, I think. He laid low. Like, after those 3-week stint of being nominated, he didn't touch the block until the final 5, and then he stayed against Annabelle when he really should have left against Annabelle. So I don't know. I think we are discrediting Dom a lot, and I think that he deserves way more for what he was able to accomplish in this game.
And I do want to bring up that what you said earlier is really important. You know, even if he was a pawn, the whole saying of Big Brother is pawns go home, and he never went home.
I think one of the things, like, I agree with everything that Lucas said. Like, it is hard to survive the block 4 times. And yes, he did campaign, and that might have had some sort of, like, influence on the game. But another reason that I think a lot of us weren't worried about Dominic was because everyone was saying, oh, Dominic can't win this game. No one's going to vote for Dominic in the end. And in these unfortunate circumstances, Dominic has probably done the most out of the 3. So, like, I don't know. I don't want to give him credit for, like, surviving the block all those times because a couple of them, like, I feel like he was going to stay no matter what. The Annabelle eviction, yeah, that's something that he might have done. I don't exactly know what happened there.
He deserves credit for the Jade eviction, too, because, yeah, it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Izzy, but it also wouldn't have happened if he didn't talk to me so well. And it took a lot of balls for him to come to me after the week we had before that. So he came after we got in that huge fight, and it was only like 3 days later, and he got me to want to keep him. Like, that's a big accomplishment. And
I agree.
But like, I would not have done it if it weren't for Dominic talking to me. So I think he deserves credit for that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I do think it's for all the people in the final 3. I think it's important to note that even if they were the pawn, there is someone else next to them, and I hope they didn't just lay down and die. So if someone else next to them was campaigning, and the person that's the pawn still stayed, there must be some sort of connections with people in the house that don't want to flip.
I look at Chapman telling Jade not to campaign.
I told Jade, I was like, Jade, I'm nominating you and Dominic. I was like, don't worry. Everybody wants Dominic out. Don't even worry about campaigning, Jade. You got this. You're fine. So she didn't campaign to a single person.
Right.
You don't want her. She didn't even talk to me. So
I feel like
Jade already knew I was evicting her over Dominic anyway. So that's why she told me that directly. Like, I know you.
Yes.
that was what I was feeling about Jade Money. She like didn't try her week. So yeah, she did kind of roll over and die.
But besides that,
she didn't know she was rolling over and dying. She thought she was going to be staying in.
Yeah, she didn't know.
No matter what, you should campaign. So that's a fault on Jade's game, not really a highlight to Dominic's game. But yes, I didn't know that Dominic campaigned to you so hard, Lucas, and like convinced you and changed your mind because I thought that it was just like you and Izzy came up with this plan for some reason whatsoever to evict Jade.
I'm happy if it weren't for him. So I think
fair. That's fair.
Emily, do you have anything to say about Dom? Because I see you on your phone a lot.
Hey, John.
John.
like
I'm so confused.
Talking about Dominic.
Hey, I need to text Christian. Hold on.
Well, anyways, okay, moving on.
I think
yeah.
so. From my perspective, like obviously I was a little salty at Dominic for evicting me because, and like this is Dominic and Ross because like I just felt like I'd done so much for both of them, but that's just how it rolls sometimes. But and like I kind of was like bitter, but for a little bit. But if you think about it, like you can say like Dominic stayed because like I told people that I wanted him to stay and all this stuff, but I wanted him to stay because he would text me long ass paragraphs every single night and he was so nice and I felt like he would never put me up. So that's why I wanted to keep him safe. And I feel like he's probably the most self-aware, as like he kind of knew his place more, where like he realized he was in this position and did try to talk. There was a couple weeks where he kind of disappeared, but I think he got his phone taken away. And I think he messed up bad on his HOH. I think he could have done something really good for him, but he kind of messed up. So
I kind of want
to. There's that. So I feel like every player has like good and bad things about their game, but when I see Dominic, I see his good outweighing the bad.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to say that on his HOH reign where Emily went home, Lucas had fully convinced Dominic to put Dejan up on the block. Dejan talked to the kid for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and completely manipulated him and completely talked him out.
Yeah, exactly.
He puts up his own alliance member on the block.
But the alliance member didn't go home. Like he still got out to didn't trust.
He got out anyway, which props to him. But like he could have put up someone who was playing an amazing game. Instead, he throws up his alliance member.
That's why they gave him the backup option of Maddie.
Yeah.
To nominate instead of Dejan.
Dominic probably would if Dejan would have left. I probably would have went for Dominic if I won double.
Yeah.
He was the next big target. I don't know. I feel like he actually might have made the right decision evicting Dejan because the next week Dejan went home and Dominic was safe. So I don't know.
That brings up another point. When I talked to Dominic and I asked him why he didn't put up Dejan, he said, Chapman, listen.
He does talk like that.
Everybody wants to target Dejan and everybody wants him out. Like, why do I have to take the shot? And I was like, well, it's the jury stage. Like, we're trying to build our resumes. And he's like, you're not listening to me. He's like, if the whole house wants him out, why do I have to do it? And I'm like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to do it. But like,
there was a reasonable point he brought up about it afterwards.
But then he said, he kind of fixed it. He was like, Dejan is a shield to me in this game. So if Dejan stays, like, that's a better shield for me. And I see that perspective, but I don't see the perspective whereas he's like, I don't want to make this move because everybody wants to do it. Like, I don't want to put that on my resume. And I'm like, I don't understand that. But I kind of see where he's coming from a little bit.
Well, because the next week,
that impression was fun.
Dejan was like the double eviction. Like that's like a day later. Dejan was utilized as a shield. So I feel like that's probably the best shield move we've seen all season. I don't know. Like who else did that? Who else kept around just so they would go home?
Say that again.
Shut up! Don't do it.
Brandon, what was your take on Dominic while you were in the house? Because again, you were the first juror, right?
Definitely not. I was just voted out right now. But
okay, right. So,
you know, I think for me, I was very close with Dominic. I think at one point he was my number one during the game. So I had a lot of conversations with him. And going back to the early stages in the game when he made himself to be such a house target, you know, I wanted to stray away from the guy. I didn't want to be seen as his right-hand man because then I figured I'd get targeted. And I like if you would have told me at that point during the game that Dominic would be sitting here right now in the final three, I would have told you were delirious as fuck, because I really do think out of the three, I think he's had the most interesting path to get to this point. And I think he's done a lot more to get to this point than the other two have, because, you know, yes, there were some situations where he did get lucky and people wanted someone out more than, you know, him. But I also think you have to look at is that not many people are too mad at Dominic like they were at the beginning stages of the game. And I really do think that
Yeah.
he was very adaptable and he learned more how to play the game, because I think he came in very cocky and had a huge ego. And I think it settled down. And I think that's when he started to play a really well-rounded game.
So you do guys agree that one of his best qualities was adaptability, noticing that he needs to change up certain
Sure.
things?
He was adaptable, and it's like respectable, because that guy was like, for sure like confirmed like 12th place. Like there was no way he was getting out of that kid, and then he somehow managed to survive about 3 more times the final nom, and like now we all like him. Like every single one of us like had an issue with Dominic or like abandoned him at some point in the game, and like now every single one of us like adores him and like likes him, and we're well, almost we don't dislike him as much. I'm like looking at Chapman's face right now.
I love Dominic as a person, but like I'm trying to stay like unbiased and look at gameplay. And okay, I do think maybe he's played the best game out of the three, but I don't think he shouldn't get all this credit that he's getting for being some.
Yeah, I do need to talk about things with Dominic, because Dominic and I are each other's ride or dies, but he always came with me for advice on what to say to people and who to say it to, especially that week 5. It was like, so I knew that I'm pretty sure Brandon and Tristan were also keeping him over Jade. I'm like, you need to talk to this person. This is what you need to say to them. When it came to decisions, the only time he didn't listen to me was the HOH week, his HOH week when Dijon didn't go up. Because even before Lucas came to me that, I apologize to Dijon, I didn't say this at the time, but I did ask for him, before he even nominated Ross and Chapman to potentially put you and Maddie up. But when it came to decisions on who to vote out, Dominic's like, I'm doing whatever you do. Whatever you decide happens, goes. That happened with Izzy, that happened with Lucas.
I do think he asked for a lot of advice.
I can't remember what else happened. Like, that might be it, but like he always came to me for these things, so I love him. And like I didn't really want to say much on it because like obviously I want him to win another the final 3, but he came for me with a lot of stuff because we were always with each other since day one.
And I feel like if we're gonna, but here's the thing, I feel like if we're gonna call someone an underdog, like you just highlighted a lot of great things that like prove he's an underdog. Like he was house targeted, disliked him, and he was able to wiggle his way out of that, like survive the block a bunch and win a few comps, like do a few things. I don't know. I feel like he came into this game with not a lot of knowledge about Big Brother, especially compared to Maddie and Tristan, who've been in the fandom forever. Dominic's like newer here. He's newer to playing games. He's newer to watching the show. And I think he's grown the most as a player and as a person. Like I feel like Dominic's like become like I don't know. I feel like the beginning of the game he was very.
Good night, Emily.
I think he's grown a lot more as a human being, an individual, and as an individual player. I don't know. I like respect the guy so much, and like I feel like I've seen someone blossom into like a new person, a new player that I like want to talk to and get to know more after this and play again with him. I like him a lot, and like I think the fact that he was able to do that to me, who we were screaming at each other at the top of our lungs week 4. I was calling him a homophobe, and then I was able to start to like, I love the guy. I love Dominic. I think he's awesome. And like, I think the fact that he's able to get me to do that, like shows that he's good and he deserves a little credit for sure.
No, I agree with Lucas. I think he is a great person who deserves a lot of credit for some things.
The other two.
definitely more than the other two. So like, yeah, like I told you earlier, Matt, like we're going to talk a lot of crap on these people's games. Not a lot of positives. The fact that Dominic even has positives and that he has this many positives,
it's impressive.
Shows something.
Good night, guys.
Are you actually?
I don't know. I'm just tired.
Well,
I was gonna say, like, where's that Emily energy?
Contribute to the conversation and maybe get energy from that.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Ross, what's your opinion on Dominic? Because you've been a little quieter for this part of the conversation.
Well, I definitely and this is coming from me, who's just like him in the sense of we are easily talked in and out of things. So I definitely understand that, because in this game, like the the whole like mind manipulation aspect of it is what I love so much about it. And I think that that's the part that I'm just trying to get over, because like I want to vote for someone that, you know, had their own like their own like mind in this game, but like I didn't. So I don't really know like what I would do if Dominic was in the final two. I definitely think that I would vote for him over the other two, just because of where he was like at in the beginning, because I know what that's like to be targeted so early on and be like, this is the placement I'm about to get, and going into like overdrive with your campaign. So I think that that is like what I want to vote for the most out of the final three is Dominic, just because I can relate to his gameplay the most, and like taking a backseat approach to it because you were targeted so early on. So I hope Dominic makes final two, just because like out of the other two, that's who I would vote for.
Well, and I'm like, here's the thing, like he did have a mind of his own. He tried to like do the whole manipulation thing, but he was bad at it, and he recognized he was bad and he stopped. Like week 4, he spent the whole week trying to save Anna, and it made everyone evict Anna. So I feel like he recognized.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah. He
Oh my God.
not do what he wanted to do in the game.
We told him not to. We did it.
You don't understand how annoying that was, because Annabelle, Tristan, and I were all telling him, let her campaign for herself. And he's like, okay, so do I say this? Like, do I not say this? And I'm like, oh my God, stop, please, stop talking.
Yeah, and I fell asleep. I come back to this whole mess, literally.
Me and
And
Dejan,
then they got a fight.
me and Dejan were like considering keeping Anna for a little bit, but
I have a confession.
Why do you think I put her up? Well, agreed to.
There was a plan backstory in that, because I just didn't want to go on the block.
Yeah.
So I went into a group with Brandon, Annabelle, and Anna, and I told them that I would keep Anna, but in realization, I was talking to like Izzy and Lucas, telling them that we're gonna evict Anna when she gets on the block. Like all Lucas needs to do is convince Brandon to put Anna up, which he did. So in that moment, I was like, okay, I have a good enough people on this side so to know that I'm good with them. I still have my group. Anna's still getting evicted this week. Like that was the plan the entire week. Anna was going home.
My
Sorry,
thing just
you told me.
completely froze. I missed all. I don't know. My thing just froze. But no, Dejan, you were doing that, so that's why I was like nervous.
Hey, robot.
My thing.
Right.
You can tell me all about it
Frozen.
later. I'm like, yeah,
Can you
I
hear
knew.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. Emily, you have your hand up. What do you have to say?
Okay, this is me talking in like an hour. Sorry, I'm just sad right now. But I do have to give some credit to Dominic, because coming in, I had a vendetta with him. I really did not like him. I feel like he mistreated me as a person, and I thought like at first we weren't gonna get along, but like progressively when we got into the game, I feel like he kind of like, I don't know, we kind of talked and like we built a bond, and I don't know, like I just found it stupid that like he put up Tristan. I know, like, I don't know, I just found it really stupid that he put up Tristan. Like out of all people, Tristan. I was like, oh. Because
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, but like if he put up you, I wouldn't be. I mean, I probably would be sitting here, but like I wouldn't be second juror.
Well, actually, more like thinking about it more, I don't know if it was the dumbest move, because you have to think he knew Tristan would stay, but if he nominated another person, say Dejan, that's him. Like if he nominates Tristan,
But Dominic basically spilled my fate when he told me that he didn't want me going.
I would have gone home. I probably would have gone home if Dejan would have gone
Yeah,
home.
no, he wants to stay.
Would have voted me out.
but you also have to think, him nominating Tristan, he can like that's not necessarily him like breaking a bridge with him. He just nominated him because he knew he would stay. But if he nominated someone else, that could be breaking a bridge.
Tristan was annoyed at that because Tristan had no warning.
It just felt like the bridge was breaking with me, because you have to understand, it felt like he was stealing my fate when he told me he didn't want me going home.
You stealed your own fate. Like you can't blame him because
I know.
Like, I love you, but Dominic's game does not revolve around you. Like
you put yourself up there because you lost the challenge. That's not his fault.
To play in.
You should have campaigned and not sat there thinking that we're gonna keep you safe. Like you should have went around and did your social connections. That's not Dominic's
And
fault.
I'm like, I feel so bad, like that you went home, but if you want to be like mad at me, but you didn't campaign to me at all.
No, and I blame myself for that. Don't worry.
But you're gonna blame Dominic for you
No.
going though?
It's
I mean,
just
I also did I convinced Dominic that Emily was one of the people that voted him out the week that Brandon went. So Dominic was like furious at Emily. And he was gonna be evicting her, and like if there was a tie between me and Emily.
I don't think so. He was just telling you that, but Chapman wanted you out.
Well, no, I think he meant it, but then he talked to you guys, and I think maybe it was Lucas. Someone came to me and they were like, "Yeah, so I don't know if."
Oh, yeah, he did tell me before he got before Izzy and Dejan talked to him again. He did tell me that he wanted Chapman to stay, but he could have just been saying that to me too. But like,
right.
I don't know. I feel like he was like secretly wanting Chapman out since he put him up. So like,
yeah, he did.
I
When Nick told me he wanted Chapman out, but I'm like, I don't want Chapman out.
The beginning of the week, though, he told me he was fine with Emily leaving before she even touched the block. I think he would have nominated.
I think he was just saying that. I don't
know.
know.
It was before the dungeon even happened.
Yeah.
He didn't.
I kind of agree. Dominic told me about that.
No, like I definitely think he said it was okay, Emily leaving, but I don't think that's what he wanted.
No,
before Noms even happened, he was okay with before Dungeon even happened. Annabelle just said he told her that Annabelle was his number one. So I think that he secretly did. I mean, I think part of him was like okay with Emily leaving, and like
he was okay with her.
He campaigned to us to vote out Chapman. So that's like what I'm saying. I didn't ask him if I
he did the thing
vote out Chapman. He told me he wanted me to.
He was okay with either one of them going. That's just a fact because
he just didn't want Tristan going.
Yeah, he was okay with either one.
I think Dominic's a lot smarter than we think he is.
Can anyone highlight what is his single best move in this game?
Ooh.
No.
Campaigning the week
I don't know, because like I want to say he did stuff by himself, but a lot of the things he did, I had a lot of input in. So I don't know if he did what he did by himself without me being there. Besides his page.
I think surviving as a final 5 is a pretty good move. Like that's like kind of you do that.
Like going off of what Lucas.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so going off what Lucas was saying earlier, information that I didn't really know until now. He did campaign very hard the week that Jade went home when he was supposed to be going home 12-0. So the fact that he flipped that and sent Jade home 12-0, even though Izzy had a lot of influence with that, that's probably like maybe not like his biggest move, but that was like a huge turning point for Dominic in this game because then he did go not inactive, but he went like undercover for the next few weeks and he wasn't really spotted by anybody.
Yeah, I don't think anyone had a big move in the final 3. I think every single person sitting in those final 3 chairs has no big move. But I do think Dominic had the biggest story arc, and I respect that. So that's me with Dominic.
What about Tristan's underdog story arc?
Oh my God, don't.
If he comes in with that, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, you know it. You know.
I don't know if he actually thinks that, or he wants that, or he
close friend story. He posted
I think
his close friend story.
That's it. I don't feel like he's lying. I think he's just very oblivious, and I think he wanted in this game to have that free. So I think he's pushing it. But I don't think it's
I've been saying this the whole time. I think Tristan is literally playing for third. He wants to walk in here and be like, Chanel Pierzina, whoa, just did that. And I think he wants to have this oh, I was nominated so much, but I saved myself, and oh, I was put at the bottom.
I think he thinks he's winning. I really think he thinks he's winning, and that breaks my heart. But I really, you say he's playing for third, but I think
for third, saying the robbed goddess.
I think he's so oblivious. He thinks he could win. I really think
he could win against Maddie.
He could be Maddie.
No, I think he's winning if he makes
I pick Tristan over Maddie.
You're not going into
I would
unless
vote
Maddie actually
Tristan
tells me
over
why
Maddie.
she picked him.
I'm voting Maddie over Tristan for sure.
If Maddie gives me a legitimate reason why she voted me out, then sure. But she did not tell me anything. That's the only difference to me separating Tristan and Maddie.
Tristan didn't tell you anything either, Annabelle. He just said Maddie.
I know that's the only thing, because Tristan told me at least that he was considering it because he was kind of forced in a position. He at least told me that. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm evicting you. And that's it.
I don't know.
So that's the only thing that separates those two in my eyes.
I feel like you're saying that Maddie never told you why he was leaving, but Tristan told you, I'm a victim because Maddie told me to. And that's way more
But
respect.
like, at least he gave me that. But like, that's the only thing I have separating them because they both played equally not that good games.
His only excuse was, I'm doing what I'm told. I thought we should respect the person who told him to do that rather than the person who did what they were told. Like, what the?
I don't know if he did what he was. I don't know if he did. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense coming from Annabelle because didn't she do that to you?
To me?
Where she
didn't tell you what she was doing.
Yeah, Annabelle, you never told me why I was going.
The opposite.
But I don't think Tristan did what he was told the week that Annabelle went home. I
remember I said you something. I heard exactly what it said.
I think Tristan knew that for some reason Ross was going to be evicting. I don't know if this is true yet, but that Ross could possibly be evicting Annabelle in a tie. So Tristan was probably like, I might as well just vote out Annabelle if she's going anyway.
That's how it came across when Tristan was talking to me.
Okay. But then again, if Ross wasn't evicting Annabelle in a tie, then yeah, Tristan did what he was told.
Ross, tell us, please, because this is determining the winner. So
it's the mystery of the season.
Ross, with respect to you, I already acknowledged. I think you're a good player.
Either way, you're fine.
Ross, I have your back, but like it kind of is important now that I'm talking about it. It kind of is a little bit important to know. And if you were going to be evicting Annabelle, can you tell us why?
Please just let us know.
Hey guys, can we make like a deal to like don't comment on
either way, like, it's okay.
The reason I don't want to say is because y'all are all gonna judge the fuck out of me because looking at it now, being
Ross, okay, here's the thing, Ross. We already know the answer, but we want to know like why. I feel like like Ross, you already know I'm not mad at you. I support you. I'm obviously not going to attack you. I think look at their faces. Like some of them might. Lucas might.
I'm not going to. I know you look at me and you expect me to. I really am curious.
I want to know, Ross, and I've never attacked you in this game, so just tell me.
Well, okay, but like you say, like when I told you that when I said to you that I wanted to like lose to you, I said that in the terms of like, you're the only person that I respect enough to lose to because of how good you are. So I hope you didn't come in here like when you were evicted saying that like in a negative way.
I brought it up when they were saying negative stuff. I was like, yeah, Ross did say this, but that's all that happened. It was never like, when I came in here, I was like, Ross does, like, I was me and Chat were the ones pushing, and Dejan actually. The three of us were the ones pushing. Like, Ross has done the most, he deserves it. So just so you do know that, we were pushing for you. I was never like, Ross does not deserve this. When you were HOH, I was like, what is Ross doing? But that's the only time I was disappointed when you were HOH. I think before your HOH reign, like, you were probably gonna win. I think. So.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna evict Annabelle in a tie because she literally full on convinced me that if it was me, Annabelle, Tristan, and her in Final Four, that she would, because Annabelle's smart, that she would win the Final Four veto and she would evict me over Tristan. So that made me think that, okay, well, it would be better to have someone like Dominic there who's going to beat Tristan in the competition so that he can just take out Tristan for me. And so that was my whole thought process about it. And, even Annabelle said, about her wrist. So I was like, it's kind of just like she's waving the white flag anyway. And it's not what I wanted to happen because what I initially was going to do was completely blinded by what Maddie said. So, yeah.
Brandon, Maddie's better than Tristan, period. More proof.
I think that, okay, here's the thing, is like, I say that in a way where it's like, if Maddie and Tristan are final two, before looking at jury pleas and questioning, or, final pleas and questioning, I would lean for voting Tristan over Maddie, but that could be changed. Like, my mind is not set on that. I would say that if Dominic does make it to the final two, I do intend on voting for him. But if it's Maddie and Tristan, my mind is open.
We also shouldn't separate Maddie and Tristan's game from one move. Like, yes, Maddie did do a lot of shit during Ross's HOH that she should be credited for, but is that the only time in this game that she's really done anything?
I think Maddie, much like, I know, I was gonna say she deserves more credit, but I don't think she does. But I think she has more credit than Tristan,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really want either of them to win, to be honest.
I want Dom to win, but we have to.
Right.
No, exactly. I think everyone wants Dominic to win.
And I
I-
think he will win because if you think about it, part 1 is going to be endurance. I think he can win that. And then if you're going to part 3, which is going to be about the jury, I mean, he knows the jury like he won What the Bleep, which is kind of a game about, somewhat knowing the jury and what they might say. So if it comes down to, a jury com for part 3, he could win that.
I hope so.
And this is actually perfect. So talking about the final HOH. So who does the winner of the final HOH, do you think that would make a difference if, like, let's say Tristan won the final HOH and evicted Dominic? Would that shed a different light on his game? Or if Maddie won or if Dom won? Does the final HOH have an impact on your votes, do you think? And what they do?
No.
If either Maddie or Tristan win and they don't evict Dominic, then they're stupid.
Actually, I don't know if they're stupid because from looking at it in the game, I feel like it does look like we're all friends with Maddie, and they might not realize that we're not going to vote emotionally. And looking at, like, I'm friends with Maddie. Maddie's the only one. Maddie's the only one that, like, I mean, no, Dominic is the only one out of the 3 that evicted me, and I'm so rooting for him. And, like, it might not look like that.
Here's the thing, though. I think if Tristan wins, takes Maddie, he contradicts the entire. No, if Tristan wins and evicts Maddie, he contradicts the entire thing he said at the Final Four, where it was like, where he capped Matt. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he's contradicting himself almost. I don't know. I think if Tristan wins final HOH, I think he's losing either way for sure. I think if Maddie wins, and I don't know. I don't think final HOH has much of an impact on me, but I kind of have my mind
I
made
just
up.
want Dominic at the end. That's all I care about.
It's just one comp, really. Like, it's just they're pretty much just guaranteed themselves a spot in the final 3. If Dominic wins it, he's winning the season. If Tristan wins it, according to everybody, he's not winning anyway. So, like, I don't think it has that much of a factor on the game.
All right. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Does anyone have final comments? Any
Oh,
sort
no,
of-
Santa's leave.
No.
I have one.
No.
I have one message.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this is like directed to Ross because
Oh, God.
I just want to apologize to you personally because I personally attacked you in this game and I think I got really emotional. But I want to tell you that I'm extremely proud of your gameplay because just by looking at it, you fought, I think, harder than most people in this game to get to the position that you got in. I think the comments and all that shit, don't let that shit affect you. And I think it kind of affected how you played the game in a sense. Just know that you played the game to the best of your abilities and you made it to Final Four. So don't take what the outside noises are trying to like say
And
about
Dejan, I respected you so much. Like the 10-minute conversation you had with Dominic, that scared the shit out of me. How do you have 10 minutes? I can't even get 30 and like convince somebody to do what you did. Like, so in one of your confessionals where you were like, he's sitting there playing victim, that upset me because I really felt like before you left, I tried to explain to you why I was targeting you and you didn't give me a chance. So once again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that like I hurt you like that. I didn't mean to. You are a huge threat, and I just I would have never won against you. So that's why
I would also like to say I know from this questioning that you feel like I think some type of way about you and just like everything, like that's game. Like I had your back. Like I had your back. Like in life too, like when people were saying things I wasn't supposed to, but I said stop because I know and like every conversation I had with you on Discord where I would talk to you, like it was so genuine, like I wasn't doing that and I wasn't
and I'm sorry that how I came on here, like I was a bit abrasive because some of y'all have every right to be mad at me, and I definitely think coming into this game I let the viewer's perspective shade how I thought, and just like how I let certain house guests tell me what to do and how I listen to them. And so
at least you're admitting.
Well,
At least you're admitting it.
And Ross, to be fair, like I've been doing this for 7 years, so has pretty much Dejan, Lucas, Emily.
No, I haven't. You think I've been playing games at 5 years old?
Emily, I met Izzy. We have like experience with getting shit on, so we know how to like react to it. And I don't think you had as much experience with that, so you didn't really know exactly like what to do with information or what to do when people were like attacking you. So I don't think you're really at fault for playing the game that you did. I think, like they said, you played the game to the best of your ability and did what you did, like what you could do with the cards you were dealt. Like I knew when the only time that I got like even like remotely upset or like a bit chaotic was when I was being called a racist by 200 people, but I still like took that better than I feel like a lot of people would, and that's because I do have a lot of experience with this. Where, like I said, you don't really have a lot of experience, so the way that you reacted to things and the things that you might have said to people that I might have heard about, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm seeing like where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, and I mean, like I can't take back what I said because bitches screenshot things, and like all I can say is that I try to learn from those experiences, and that's just who I am. I'm very emotional and I'm very impulsive. And when someone hurts my feelings, the only way I can try to cope with that is to try to hurt their feelings just as much. And that's a very bully mentality, and I'm working on that. So.
Well, that was a super cute little.
Matt, you interrupted me.
Oh my God, okay, finish.
Oh no, I want to know what Matt's gonna say.
Oh no, that's okay. I'll go after.
I just want to say I have a secret. Yeah, Chapman is right. I've been playing BB Kid games for a long time.
No, shut up. I was trying to say, you and Izzy are like
in the womb.
You and Izzy
Yeah.
I played.
I actually hosted Reality Stats. I just gave it to Griffin.
Okay, Matt, say what you were
Okay, yeah. Anyways, that was a really cute way to end off the season. Almost brought a tear to my eye. Not really, but like, it was very cute. But I think, at the end of the day, you guys are all part of ZFAMEZ Season 3. As much as you might fight, as much as you might hate or love each other, you guys are all one big family going forward. And I don't think people realize that in the fandom. Like, ZFAMEZ is a game. And it doesn't really have any impact on our life, but we all shared this big experience with the people in our season. And you're going to have a group chat after the season ends, and you guys will talk in it for months and months and months. Ours still gets notifications from our season. And this is all just for fun. And as long as you guys had fun, made new friendships, that's really what this is all about. And I think you guys just proved it just then. Yeah, I think you guys just proved it now. That was adorable.
I want to say something. This has been my favorite jury I've ever been in.
Cute. Thank you, Emily.
But also same.
So much to me.
Yeah.
Chapman, don't act fake.
I'm just kidding. It's my favorite jury too, I think.
And I mean,
so much better than rock bottom jury.
That's pretty much all we have to do for this roundtable. I mean, obviously, if you guys stay on call after it's all over, I'm not.
Shout out to Tarzanax. I love you so much.
But at the end of the day, also remember you're picking a representative for this season.
That's really
Who do you want to represent your season? Their name will be in the bio. When someone thinks of season 3, whoever you vote for to win is who they're gonna think of.
Lucas.
So
what did we do?
I'm gonna end with that. Thanks guys for being a good little jury.
Hey, call me back.
Thank you, Matt, for leading this for us.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Oh my God, no problem. No problem. It was
Hi,
fun.
Matt.
Hi, Izzy. And I think that's all, right? Right, Daniel?
Matt, I thought you left the fandom after getting.
I know, right?